Page 117, Lonesome. On page 116, they're introducing you to diminished triads. We just had augmented triads, now we're going the other way. Diminished means to lower it, but there's a little more to it than that. With an augmented triad, remember you raise the top note a half a step, but you had a major triad to start with. And you go up. Well, with a diminished triad, we're going to lower the top note a half a step, but we need a minor triad to start with. Like here. Then we can have it diminished by lowering it. Used a lot in minor keys. So that's really the difference between is it a major triad or a minor triad? Now you're going up or down. It's used for color, for harmonic coloring. We can do a lot of neat stuff with this. And they give you all about, there's an etude at the bottom of one line thing, but that's just, you can have fun with that. I want to do it in this Lonesome because Lonesome gets it. For instance, look at the first line in the left hand. First measure is a C chord, but now they raised the bottom note up, and that in effect made it a diminished triad. Now this gets weird because first off, we didn't start with a minor triad. We went up here. That's a major triad. Here, but this the chord we're talking about on this second measure is actually this chord. But it's a minor chord, so it's here, and we diminish it, then we're going to take the top note down. And we end up with the same chord they're showing. So sound-wise, it's the same chord. So it is a C-sharp diminished triad. We'd usually call it a D-flat diminished triad because the key of C-sharp has 7 sharps, so we don't do that all that often. So, and you've already had D-flat major, it's 5 flats. So that is it. Just another way of looking at it. Look at the second line, second measure. Well, in the first measure, second line, you have the C chord again. Now we're going to augment it. Now we hit the augmented triad. So this is what they're doing here, and it's the different ways of augmenting and diminishing is what I'm saying. So they created a diminished triad by raising the bottom note up a half step. But they started with a major triad. Is this confusing or what? Boom. It's like that. If you want to get into music theory, there's lots of other videos and lots of other channels that teach music theory. Go knock yourself out. Have a ball. That's as far as I care to take it. In Lonesome, you get these chords in the bottom. They're primary chords in the key of C major, except they've added this chord and the 2 chord. In the second line, you get an augmented, but still, most of it's primary chords. In the right hand, we get this dotted rhythm. 1E and a 2E and a 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 1. And if you do that 1E and a 2E and a counting and carefully work it out, you'll be fine. The left hand doesn't help much, it's just playing on the beat. 1E and a 2E and a 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 1E and a 2E and a. So that's it. Now fingering wise, you can finger it pretty much like they're telling you to. It's a little awkward in places. Look at the second line, first measure. You see here, and then on the C's it's a 5-3. You don't have to, you can go 5-4 and then 3. It's up to you. I like using different fingers on repeated notes. So it's really up to you how you finger those C's. I would not finger them all with 5th finger because in the 3rd measure you need 5th finger again. That's why they're doing 3rd finger there, because it puts you in position to go on. And then the last measure here, you notice the thumb on 2 notes. Normally you wouldn't want to do that. That's a bad idea. But in this case, it actually works out because it helps with the phrasing. They didn't give you any phrasing marks. Isn't that nice of them? But the point is, in that last measure, the second line, the first note ends a phrase. That's the last of it. The next note starts the pickup to another phrase, so you're going to connect it. So by using your thumb on both, it forces you to have a break in the sound between the phrases. So the last two measures of that second line. Like so. So I would suggest that finger is fine. I mean, you don't have to figure it that way, but we do want to break between the first and second eighth notes in that measure. So you lift up right there. Third line, first measure, watch the fingering, because you're here, and then 1, and then 3. That's fine. Last line here, it's 1 and 2 and. 1E and a 2E and a. 1E and a 2E and a. Just follow their fingering, it's okay. Now take a look at the second line last measure in the left hand. You have the 5/7 chord. Then you got to go down to the G. To look down to see where it is. And then immediately you got to come back to the C chord. So it's there. You're going to move around a little bit. You just have to be aware you're going to do it. Now, the right hand, you shouldn't have to look at it too much, so you can focus on the left hand here. On the last two measures, you got a lot of tied notes in there. The left hand, you're going to play the chord and hold it down for the rest of the piece. It's all tied. In the right hand, you have it here. Once you get to the C, it's tied for the rest of the piece. You just have to count it out. So it's 1, 2, tie, 2, off. There. So let's try this out slowly and see what happens. There's no pedal in this one. I know it says slowly, but I want to go slower than that. I'll give us 4 counts, 4 quarter notes. So go ahead and put your hands where they go, and here we go. 1, 2, ready, and go. We end a 1E and a 2E and a. Two, off.